This is the Tapped In Podcast, the podcast for beverage distributors that want to empower their sales team to drive business results. Listen up and welcome back to another episode of the Tapped In Sales, your podcast for beer distributors by beer distributors. We are back for another episode we got Marketing Mike now on this one. They keep saying names to tell one clips. I'm Bud, your hostess with the mostest. It is Case of the Mondays.
It is a case of the Mondays. Day after
Do you
Super
have a case
Bowl.
of the Mondays, Mike?
Yeah, day after Super Bowl. I mean, it kept me up well past my bedtime because you can't just watch the end of the game. You have to see all the celebration, good fun stuff. So, yeah, I stayed up a little bit later than I normally do.
You had to take the Dirty Bird. You watch the Dirty Birds suck all the fun out of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and those guys three-peating it and coming down on the field and hugging and kissing and everything. And Kelce saying, I'm going to retire and go out on top and propose to this woman and marry her.
Oh, man, that would have been the best outcome, right? The world would have just went crazy with that. At least all the teenage girls. Oh, my gosh. I was rooting for Kansas City. I wanted to see the three-peat.
Boo. No, they got too much help to get there.
Too much help to get
there. Nope.
Yeah,
My neighbor down here in Florida is a big Dolphins fan. And last year, when they lost to the Ravens and got bounced over to I think it would have been the wild card game where they had to play the Chiefs, I just texted him and said, you're in trouble. And he's like, no, we'll be fine. They're not on their game. I'm like, no, you're looking at this the wrong way. Like, you're making a total rational football argument. I am not. I am making a dollars and cents argument, which is ain't nobody going to stop Taylor Swift getting to the Super Bowl.
Right. Heck yeah. Well, the Eagles stopped her from getting on the podium at the end.
Yep. I mean, what would have been the match? Like, they would have, because they won straight through the playoffs. So that was like 4 or 5 games. And then they had an undefeated season this year, right? Didn't they? They didn't lose, did they?
Honestly, no. I think they lost a game or two.
They did? Okay.
I don't really follow them. Yeah, I don't remember their record. But, yeah, I believe they lost a game or two. But you're probably looking it up right now. You know, and I look back, too, and I think the Lions could have beat Kansas City, too.
What was that?
They would have struggled getting past the Eagles, but I think they would have beat them, and then they would have beat Kansas City.
Okay, they did. Yeah, you're right. They did lose, I think. So, like, yeah, they lost, and in week 11 at least. So they had a couple losses. So I was just misremembering wrong. But at the end of the day, like, I'm with you. I don't pay a ton of attention to it. I'm more in it for like the mix and the Super Bowl commercials, which we're going to talk about today as well. So. Before we get there, though, we spent last couple weeks on site and had some fun things to share. So I want to go through, for anybody listening, one of the things that we do professionally with clients is that when they're launching VXP and they're starting to, take this live with the reps, we actually show up on site and go through a training process and actually work directly with the reps in the field. And when we're doing that, we have an opportunity to learn more about your market, more about how the product might be used, and just in general get to know your reps better, because we do a lot of like prep training and everything else too. But one of the fun things is that, like, every once in a while, early in the process, I run across a rep like John from the Chicago area. And, most of the meetings are like, hey, I'm here to work for you. I know this is new. You might have some questions. I always like to start with questions. That's kind of how I prep it, right? And how we get started with the rep in the field. Because we these trainings, Mikey, right? And you got like Zoom rooms, all this big stuff going on and yada, yada, yada. And they not always feel comfortable asking the questions, right? Which makes for sure. Total sense, total reasonable.
And they don't want to sound dumb or like they missed something. So they usually just keep to themselves and bottle up all those questions.
Yep. And so I sit down with this rep, John, big guy, very tall, soft smoking, and also very smart, because he's like, I don't have any questions, but I'd like to know how you think about how I've started using it. So let's show the first thing he did. So he sits down and I'm like, okay, well, tell me what you were doing. He's like, well, this is what I did first. This is one grocery store in the Chicago area, got a huge Busch Light wall of product in cases. So these are all 30 packs. And he said, this is used to all be Busch Light. But now that I was looking at this, what I did was I went up to the manager and I said, hey, this has always been Busch Light. I'd like to do something new. And he selected the top GP items that are also the top volume items for that store and said, I'd like to carve a little bit of space out on either side of this and add some 312 and some Beer Hug and some Honker. Is it just, no, it's just Goose IPA and some Goose IPA to either side of this and kind of, yeah, it's a Busch Light 30 display with however many cases this is, right? I mean, it's got to be 50, 60 cases. Oh,
yeah, that's like a lot of cases. Over
70,
that, yeah.
80 cases. I mean, I'm not the mathematician on the phone call. And added all of this new incremental GP to the game. And you got to love it, right?
I love it. It looks great. I mean, just from looks, it's eye-catching. It adds some color. Look at all the extra color that it adds in there, that sea of Busch Light. And on top of suggesting by me, but a screaming GP too.
You got to love it. Screaming volume, screaming GP, moving the thing. Now, the next thing he says, but I did another thing too. And I'm like, well, what'd you do next? And he's like, well, the next thing I did was I created space now. So I created space where my 312 and my Beer Hug was. I had this little small display of it. And so then that left this open space. So now I don't have any neutral on the floor. I only have neutral in the shelf. So then I was able to talk to the manager and say, because I did this, now I have that space and I'd like to do this with this space. And the manager was like, perfect. So now we're 2 for 2, right?
Yeah.
Incremental, clearly out of market here. We can see this is in the grocery. I think it's right by the avocados, and avocados for 70 cents each. That's a pretty good price too, by the way, for those of us who are paying attention or do some grocery store shopping from time to time. I think that's a pretty good price in my head. So now we're 2 for 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Looking good so far.
Gotta love this. And then there was one more thing. And he said, so now since I've got the manager saying yes, and I've got a little bit of Mo, I was able to carve out this additional side wing, because he was like, also store manager, I'm looking in my new application. And he's like, these are good items for you that I think makes sense to add a little side end cap wing, if that is such a term that you should call this. I'm not sure what the location technically should be called, and just slide that right out there and just add some additional incremental GP on the floor.
Love it. Love it. That is textbook material right there. Taking items that you're suggesting to sell, right? We're using our display space to suggest some items to jump in your cart, take home and try me. And we're also using the data to see, hey, these have really good GP behind them, and they've got enough velocity to where I don't have to worry about a code problem by setting in and stacking those up.
Yep. So genuine,
awesome.
John, genuine incremental GP moves, genuine incremental velocity moves, going to grab shoppers' attentions, are going to focus on the new brand. So you got to love it, right? I mean, the joke that you haven't said yet, but you told me on Friday when we talked about this was, not only did he learn from the book, he threw the book at this. This is exactly right out of what we're trying to get done with reps too.
Did he look right in the eye and say, well, what else are you going to tell me?
Well, he looked what he actually looked at was listen up. I'm in charge now.
Yeah, listen up, bud. Let me tell you a couple things here.
Tell you what's up.
I'm
bro.
The seasoned veteran.
I'm the captain now. So.
Yeah. Yep. That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yep. No. And then another thing we don't talk enough about on a regular basis is some of the objective and incentive tracking tools. And we have another new client also in the Chicagoland area that just recently launched while you were on concussion protocol. and
Concussion
we're
protocol. Yeah.
managing the concussion protocol.
Was regathering my
And
marbles.
yes, and it was in a week and a half, like no time flat at the very end of January, first part of February. They tracked and they put out 8,500 cases on the floor for their supplier incentives in like
That's incredible.
no time. Yes, and
That's awesome.
This is the practice month. This isn't real month. This is like
Right.
we're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice here.
We're talking about practice.
Man.
So you gotta love that see somebody use the tools and the things that we are obsessed with and work with every day. It's very exciting to see for sure. You have to love it 100%.
Yeah, that's good stuff to see.
Yep.
To show up and your first impression, first conversation with the rep, and they're already telling you, hey, I've been digging around in this, and this is kind of what I've noticed. Am I doing the right thing? I mean, that's amazing. That's good stuff.
Yep. Gotta love it.
Those are the reps that we want to take and just duplicate, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So great stuff from the two clients. Awesome work. Wanted to give shout outs there to both of them. The next thing on our agenda is to talk about Super Bowl. So
yeah,
Eagles dominated the Chiefs in their win. Commercials were great. We're going to talk about commercials, but also maybe what might be the real winner of the night is that Super Bowl gambling or legal gambling sites saw $1.4 billion in bets go across. We've been talking about this. We're going to continue to talk about the distraction of dollars and how young consumers and old consumers and everybody are, dollars are getting spread around in more creative ways. That's a ton of money bet on one game. And these are a bunch of prop bets, like what's the first, who wins a kickoff, who scores
first to score. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
All the good stuff. I was surprised Sandy didn't call us to get in one of her squares. Did she call you and not me? Did I get cut from the square?
And I was really disappointed in that, we always do a bunch of appetizers and we're getting all the appetizers and stuff. Even it's just the four of us getting the appetizers around for the game. And I was like talking about gambling and I forget how it got up, but my wife and I were talking about it. And I said, yeah, you would just be amazed at all the stupid bets just like that, right? People putting money on the coin flip and who's going to score first and all the things. And I go, damn it, I didn't get into a square. I didn't get a square this year without Sandy. I'm lost.
Well, and I didn't get to send anybody to go see Sandy to grab my contribution from the petty cash drawer. So, you're like this. Yeah. She's probably like, this dummy doesn't have any cash. I know he doesn't have any cash. I'm not gonna bug him. I'm not managing the petty cash drawer anymore.
Yeah, and we're getting into March too, so I'm gonna need to find somebody to get a bracket going with. If we don't have our Atlas bracket, Sandy being the ringleader of that too.
Yep, 100%. Oh my God. Well, with regards to the Super Bowl commercials, we always, the tried and true method of success is the not so partially scientific survey of the USA Today ad meters. And that is something that's been going on for 37 years now. And this year, the Super Bowl was tracked. Would they have 60 some odd Super Bowl commercials in total? And a beer, big year for beer, bunch of beer commercials. And particularly there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 7 different commercials of the 60 some odd commercials that a beer distributor's warehouse is touching it in one way, shape, or form. Anheuser-Busch had 4 of them. Molson Coors had Coors Light. Then there was also 2 newbies to the game. It's good to be a rich non-alcoholic brand owner.
Sure is.
It's good to be a rich non-alcoholic brand owner because you got Liquid Death and Poppy in the mix as well.
Yeah.
And what'd you say?
I wasn't surprised with the Poppy. They've been doing a lot of advertising. I think they had a Super Bowl ad last year too, if I remember correctly. But I was surprised with the Liquid Death. I love to see it. It's awesome. Huge brand, right? Lots of money, obviously, behind it. But just getting that out there. And I love to see, but what really caught my eye were those 12-ounce cans. And I don't know if it's just I haven't seen them yet, but in the commercial, they had 12-ounce cans. And I was like, great freaking idea. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're 12-ounce 6-packs for an arm and a leg.
Okay. I guess I just haven't seen them yet. I guess I'm living under a rock. You know, you've grounded me now since my concussion. I haven't been out in the market in a while, so I haven't seen those. But I love that, man. I love the idea of sneaking a few of those in your cooler too. I mean, this is a side tangent here, but just having that water or non-alcoholic in a can like that ready to go is amazing. The last concert we went to, they had all the 19.2s, Liquid Death, pounding those all night long. You know, it's great. Feels like you're drinking a beer. It's ice cold. You got an hour drive home. I'm not going to be pounding beers all night, and It's a great replacement. So I'm excited about the 12-ounce can.
You gotta love it. Well, let's go through them. So winning the ad meter spot, Budweiser, number 1 with first delivery. My funny thing for sure about this commercial, which probably not everybody knows, is that they do train these horses to do the stuff that they do in the commercial. And they train they train that little colt to, which that's even the right term for a young Clydesdale. They trained it to push that beer around, that keg around 100%.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure 100%. They had like a nice rubber keg to practice on and just kind of push it around. And which, I mean, if you've gone through all the trouble to train a horse how to push a keg around, you're going to need to utilize that talent in more ways than just a commercial. Make some deliveries, like bring them around, right? Like allow your distributors to bring it, like the assets. Remember the marketing assets that you could rent and bring to town. Bring the keg kicking Clydesdale to town and make some deliveries with it. That would be amazing.
Now, the only question I had about the commercial is, given the amount of distance, and they only showed the 30-second spot on the Super Bowl, they've got the minute spot too. So given the amount of distance that the horse had to go, or the Clydesdale had to push to deliver this keg, do we think it was still within temperature regulations?
I was wondering the same thing. I didn't see him take that temperature gun like we have to at the back dock to make sure to not go below or above.
The Ultra Hustle, this was near and dear to my heart. I am not a big pickleballer, but I do have a friend. He will be named Dennis Deluxe on the pod. That is his name. He is a pickleball elitist, and I loved right away when the person was like, we're ranked at a pretty high level. And it's just like, that is pickleball elitism at its finest. 100%. 100%.
And then they got schooled.
Got totally schooled. So that was number 3 on the ad meter. Number 4 was Stella, David and Dave, the other Dave. There's another David. Well, if there's one David, there has to be another David, or it has to be other David then. Sarah had not watched these at all, and we're sitting there on the couch, and the last line of like, so how famous are you? It's like, well, I'm more like, but Ben Affleck famous is like, oh, that's sad. That's too bad. And she started dying laughing.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Meanwhile, Ben is in the very first commercial right after kickoff and right after the first series in the Dunkin' commercial, and is like, he's the first guy out of the gate from the celebrity side. Then number 7, Bud Light, Men on the Cul-de-sac, or Men on Cul-de-sac. What'd you think of that one, Mikey?
I think it was all right. Bud Light getting back into the game. It's good to say they haven't been in the top 10 in quite some time, right? So it was good to see them come back with something. But my bigger takeaway on that was, was getting back to that overall message that we really want to preach, is that beer brings people together. You have a good time. Every good occasion has a couple beers in moderation. So I felt like not only was it good for the brand, but it was good for the whole entire industry and segment together as a beer, or as the beer industry, just to say, hey, you know what? Let's have some beers and get together. Come on over, have a barbecue. Mm-hmm. And if my neighbor had a cooler like that, holy crap.
It's not a cooler. It's a smoker that happens to cut grass.
Yeah. It's a smoker. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But no, I like their overall message. I did.
Shane Gillis has to be like, I get paid to do this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I get paid to hang out with Post Malone and with Peyton Manning and to drive around a cooler full of beer on a smoker. It's like, I like the not so subtle, like party in the sack.
Yeah.
There's that little element of like party in the sack.
Yeah. Yeah. Party in the sack. Did you see that cooler make an appearance at the Super Bowl too?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. They
Totally
right after that commercial, they showed Peyton Manning with that cooler at the I don't know, walking area or whatever. It was there. It was pretty sweet.
Did he have the jorts on? Did you see the jorts in the commercial?
Yeah, I don't think he had the jorts on at the Super Bowl.
Those were like capri jorts. Like they were way down below his knees, all flared out. The only thing he was missing was the vintage 1996 Bud. I should find this. It's somewhere like that. You've got the braided belt and it's too long, so you've wrapped it around in a knot and it goes straight down.
Straight down,
like, Yep. We all did it.
Yeah, you bought it too long on purpose, so you could get the knot and the 9 or 10 inches that it hung down too.
Love it. So that rounds out all the beer commercials in the top 10, with Anheuser-Busch having 4 of the top 10. Then we've got the Coors Light Slow Monday. I like this commercial and I like the concept. It's played into the big game. It did all that from the Super Bowl. I also don't think it was the strongest one that they had on the lineup that I've seen so far. What do you think of Slow Monday?
I liked it. We watched the 60-second clip previously before the Super Bowl, and obviously they aired the 30-second clip, but I liked the 60 a lot more. I think it drove that home, and it was a little bit funnier, but I overall I really liked it. And I like where their campaign is going with the Case of the Mondays. I think that has a lot of runway, again, back to community and beer drinking occasions. And, somebody calls you up and, hey, I got a case of the Mondays. Cool, man. Come on over, or I'm swinging by. I mean, it's just great to get that message out there again too. So, but overall, I is this the first one that you were talking about, or the alternative?
We're going to play this one. This is Timothy Simmons' Case of the Mondays. Let's play this, let the audio run too, and then we can talk about it afterwards. I like this one. I haven't seen this. I think this is stronger.
That's not my pasta. Cut. Hey, Timothy, the line is, that's not my problem. That's not my pasta. Problem. Yeah. Okay. That's not my problem. Yeah. Okay. And action. I honestly forgot what we were doing. That's not my problem. It just feels lazy. Like, I'm a good actor. I just think... Yeah. Has this lamp been here the whole time? It's like a little cinnamon bun. Action. What? Cut. All right. That's a wrap. Have a great weekend. It's not a wrap. Not a weekend. Hey, Timothy. You have a case of the Mondays today? No. Yeah, I think you do. Oh, thanks. I'll chill. Chill wherever you want. We've replaced you. Action. That's not my problem. Cut. Yes. Oh, that guy's really good. Great day, everyone.
Yeah, that's good too.
I like that one a little better.
Yeah, I think they're both. I mean, the sloths have a different way to my heart. I always crack up at sloths. I think they're just funny and slow. But no, that one's good too. It's a little bit more. I think it's funnier. It kind of gets the Case of the Mondays out there a little bit more, but hopefully we see that a little bit more in rotation. Yeah, for sure.
It's good for beer because it's good for beer. It's good for the Coors Light brand because it's got some play. It's got some legs. It's got something you can have some fun with, just like the Snickers commercial. You can have a lot of fun with celebrities in Case of the Mondays. Have a lot of fun with real people in Case of the Mondays as well. And even kind of the whimsical stuff around like, hey, maybe it doesn't have to be set in current world times. It could be something old. It could be something futuristic. It could be in a self-driving car of self-driving car land of Case of the Mondays as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Coors Light, the arc of that goes and what that arc looks like as well. So then we round out to 36 to Liquid Death, Safe for Work. What'd you think of this one, Mikey?
I love it. Yeah, I thought it was great. I like the comedy behind it. It was funny. It got the message out there. Some great branding, right? I talked about 12-ounce cans and how I like that, but and then just the visibility of the brand, getting that message out there. So yeah, that was great. I loved it.
Well, and they've got the colas now too. They've expanded some, they've expanded the products line. They already had the teas. The teas were showcased. They kind of loosely talked about the colas. I first saw the 6-ounce or the 12-ounce package here in Florida just a week or two ago because I was looking for the 19.2s or the 16 ounce. Did they finally DQ the 16s?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't seen them around in a while. It's all been 19.2s.
All been 19.2s. Okay. And then we've got the Poppy, which, I mean, it's incredible that they did a minute commercial.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
that was a long, I mean, their pockets are deep, right?
Have to be. Like, have to be. Or either one of these are like put on termination watch.
Yeah.
Looking for the exit. Like, let's bump the numbies up for the last, year and see if we can't really leverage this. I mean, they had let's watch the Poppies one more time. What do you think, my man?
Right this second, at some diner somewhere, I'll have someone really wants a soda. And they're not alone, because somewhere else, there's a bunch of other someones that are also thinking about soda. Like her.
Hello? Are you okay?
I'm thinking. See? But soda feels like a lot of sugar right now. And these other drinks, too much buzz, no flavor. What if there were a better soda?
Hurry up! Hey, yo! Han.
Bestie.
Okay, I'm gonna freak out. It's a drive-through, not a confession booth. Show up a poppy, please.
Stop spiraling. Get a poppy.
Get a poppy.
Get a poppy.
Don't mind if I do.
Pizza?
Hello, Poppy. Oh, yes. What a lineup.
Okay.
I mean, a soda with 5 grams of sugar?
It's good, right?
It is good.
I mean, they say 5 grams of sugar. All I care about is $8 in GP.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
And that had the celebrity vibe too. The girl in the middle in the bikini is Alex Earl. She is the influencer of the moment for the Gen Zers for sure. Yes.
Gotcha.
Your daughter would know who she is.
My daughter's not on social media. I hope she doesn't know who she is.
Not at all.
Not at all.
You know she's got a shadow account, bro. You kidding me?
She better
100%.
not.
She's got a shadow account for sure.
She just turned 13. We still rummage through her phone every night. So
you do better.
Man.
You're
Check
auditing that
balances.
phone.
Yeah. It's just
You're
like
auditing
auditing the
that phone.
FPL at the back door, man. I'm looking at deleted texts. I'm looking at hidden folders. I know all the tricks.
So overall, 7 commercials for beer distributors in the Super Bowl, one way, shape, or form. Whether you love them, hate them, like them, or think they're just downright dumb, like the guy from the New York Times, who's like totally poop, like classic poo-poo for those, coastal elites around like, hey, this is too much fun for this must be armed at the normal folks, not at the people that are really know what's going on here. It had like, vibes of a movie review from the BBD today of like, come on, bro. Like, we're shooting beers we're talking about sloths and we're shooting beers out of out of leaf blowers. Like, this isn't rocket science. We're just having fun here. We're not solving any of the world's problems. We're just trying to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, I am. Once the weather warms up, because it's still chilly out, I am going to try shooting a beer out of my leaf blower. I'm going to try that. And
you don't need the weather to warm up to try that experiment.
It's damn cold out there, bud. I think overall it was good. Entertaining, an entertaining group of commercials this year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the last few years have really just fallen so short of being entertaining, funny, good at getting the message across. So it was nice to see Coors Light and the Bud Light ad with a good consistent message, and hope to see some more.
Well, the other part of kind of what I think is a miss for the industry is that, before we move on to some other like Super Bowl commercial topics, is that Miller Lite turns 50 this year. And that would have been a huge opportunity to talk about Miller Lite turning 50, I'm almost positive they're going to do secondary packaging transition and are going to have some fun with like a golden Miller Lite can in some way. I just see that as a huge miss to build on the longevity of the brand. And yeah, it's great they had Coors Light and Molson Coors Wholesaler, but a big miss in my mind to not throw a 30-second spot out for a Miller Lite 50th. You could have done nostalgia. You could have done, you know, a bunch of different stuff, like even introing a few of the older brands. You know, you could have done, or a few of the older marketing commercials. You could have done Tastes Great, Less Filling with the people who did that commercial, but redo it today and talk about you know, like you could have the same actors, you know, 30 years or 40 years later now where they're celebrating, you know, as well. So
yeah. And if I remember correctly, I think that they are doing a throwback can and package for that anniversary package. So what great way, like you said, to just throw it all the way back to the beginning with some really cool memories of, you know, the original cans and some of the old commercials, maybe little clips of that, and then tease that new package that's coming up in front of the biggest audience of the year.
I mean, they did the secondary packaging. What they probably made the decision around at the brewery was, we're going to do the Case of the Mondays as secondary packaging for Coors Light. We don't want to talk about it and not have the secondary packaging out in the market. I still would have like, hey, we got to talk about it. Like, we got to tee it up. We got to tee it up, and then it just feeds into the year of 50 and the year of Miller Lite and all the stuff they could have done as well, for sure. 100%.
Absolutely.
Do we have any other commercials we enjoyed as well?
You know, I liked the Jeep commercial. That one hit me pretty good.
Such a Jeep guy.
I'm a Jeep guy.
All they need to do for a Jeep commercial is, and I didn't see it, so I need to go back and watch it. All they need to do for a Jeep commercial is just a bunch of knuckleheads like you. It just says Jeeps doing Jeep things, and they're just driving
Jeeps
over
doing
stuff.
Jeep shit.
That's all they need to do.
There
was one. There was one where have you seen this, where this big tree falls over right in front of like this Oldsmobile, or right behind this Oldsmobile, and then it like this Oldsmobile freaks out and like drives away at a 4-wheel stop, and then it's like, here comes a Jeep doing Jeep things, and this Jeep just emerges through the tree. This tree is like a 70-foot tree, and it just drives right over the tree out into the intersection.
You know why they can do that? Because the paint's falling off all of the Jeeps, and they don't give a shit about scratching it. They don't really care.
No, it's a whole new thing, Mikey. The paint's not falling off. It's just flaking into a new flare.
It is, yeah. It's creating a new paint job after a few years. But
what was the Jeep commercial? What was it?
It had I have the link down here. What's his name? Harrison Ford was in it. And it's just, I always like it because Jeep's done such a great job of marketing, not such a good job of creating a quality product, but that's for another episode. But their marketing comes back to like lifestyle, right? I mean, we've talked about this with other brands and marketing brands to a lifestyle, and Busch Light, outdoorsy, you know, like just Monster along the adrenaline type sports and all that kind of stuff. Like, we're going to watch this?
We can, yeah.
Lives. Longest thing we ever do is live our lives. But life doesn't come with an owner's manual. Might have been nice, huh? But that means we get to write our own stories. Freedom is yes or no or maybe. Freedom is for everybody, but it isn't free. It's earned. There are real heroes in the world, but not the ones in the movies. Real heroes are humble. They're not driven by pride. Pride is a terrible driver. Freedom is the roar of one man's engine and the silence of another's. Freedom is the ability to inspire. The most sacred thing in life isn't the path. It's the freedom to choose it. You don't have to be friends with someone to wave at them. We won't always agree on which way to go. but our differences can be our strength. So choose, but choose wisely. Choose what makes you happy. My friends, my family, my work make me happy. This Jeep makes me happy, even though my name is That's my owner's manual. Get out there, write your own.
Cool spot, right?
It's a cool spot. I completely missed that one.
Yeah, and I think the overall takeaway is if you want to do cool shit and look cool doing it, you better own a Jeep, right? Which comes back to that lifestyle branding, right? You want to go drive around the mountains and some cool dirt roads with no doors on, like you have to have a Jeep. So I feel like they've always done a really good job of that lifestyle branding. And I did like that ad quite a bit.
It's a great ad, 100% sure. Now, did you like any other ads?
Not that really stood out to me. No, that was about it.
Did you see the Angel Soft potty break one?
Yes, I did.
Sarah got a kick out of that one. She was tickled pink at that potty break.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, we needed longer than 30 seconds, but it was a good ad. I like that. That was funny. Speaking of ads, I go ahead.
And then there's from Parks and Rec, there is, what is that actress's name? Is it April? Yeah, it's April. No, she's the fictional character. Who's the real character? Oh, wait, Aubrey Plaza. She's this one was the what is it? It's the I Love Ritz, the Ritz Salty Club. Did you remember seeing that one?
I think I missed that one.
Let's go find that real quick then. I hope these are playing good through this. This is fun. I don't know if anybody likes it, but at least it's fun. So this is the other one that I liked. That was share screen, the Salty Club.
These are our people.
Our salty brethren.
You ain't give me exact change.
He's salty, but I'm the saltiest.
Oh, saltier than me? When I smile, people assume it's a glitch.
Please, I'm the human version of Monday. Why is Rich so good? So annoying.
Buttery, salty show-offs.
I love them. Read the sign, Bunny.
You're gonna get us kicked out.
So?
That's better.
Loved by everyone, even the saltiest.
Yeah, I missed that one. That's good
fun.
too.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it. So those were my favorites and what I went through. At the end of the day, one more one. Did you see the Indy 500, like the Indy race car driver profiles?
No, I missed that one too.
I wonder if that was regional because they weren't listed. So I think those must have been regional. But down here in Florida, they were playing like profiles, and they had vibes of like the most interesting man from Dos Equis, and they were profiling the Indy race car drivers and like their personal lives, their children's lives, referenced one of their wives, and all the stuff that they do, and like this is why you should watch Indy 500, or the Indy car series, and they were building up the personas of these race car drivers, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go find that one and watch it. Yeah, because I didn't see that. We were pretty good. I thought I caught everything because I would pause it if I needed to get up, and then if I needed to fast forward to catch up, I just did it during the game because who really gave a damn about the game last night? But
yeah, especially
I didn't want to miss the commercial,
the first half. And these weren't on the ad meter, so I looked high and low. They must have been a regional commercial for sure. Did you get a Busch Light commercial up north?
I did not.
They did some. I thought they did some regional ones on the Busch Light side, but must not have gotten any up north either. Then nothing down here.
Yeah, nothing around here.
Good stuff. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the breakdown. At the end of the day, I think it was a good thing for beer across the board. Some great, solid jumping off point for commercials and a lot of good stuff to build on from like everything from Ultra and the gambling, like the betting, I bet you an Ultra, to Case of the Mondays, getting back to fun and lighthearted stuff across the board. And then the cherry on top is that some of our youngest, more capable suppliers on the non-alcoholic side getting into the mix and seeing that they're putting their money where their mouth is and investing in a big platform like the Super Bowl to bring notoriety to those brands and drive volume through the network. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's great. And if you carry those brands, I'm sure that's going to resonate too into you're going to see it in the sales, I would imagine, because that was a big platform to be on.
Well, I love the Poppy one because it was like they were directly calling out the consumer's perspective of like, I'm seeking out these products and you, the retailer, are not stocking them. You do not have them available for purchase. And that I've never seen a brand in beverage alcohol or frankly any CPG business come out and basically like attack a retailer of your shoppers are standing in front of you, doing business with you, and they're looking for these brands. I thought that was a very interesting viewpoint to actually share in the commercial as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure it's true in many cases. And they're probably, as a supplier, they're probably pretty frustrated about that too.
Saw these Coca-Cola and Pepsi contracts. Just like,
big names.
Boxing them out. So
big boys. I had one snippet.
Yes, there was one more. What's going on here? What are we showing the people, Mikey?
We have, and I don't know what kind of camera view I have here, but I have taken it back to the old school from 1994, Bud Bowl 6. And this is the original like screenplay from Bud Bowl 6, all written and drawn out line by line. And actually back then they did 2 30-second spots. We had the first half and the second half of the 30-second spot. So, I mean, kicking it back to in the 90s when AB really ruled the marketing for the Super Bowl and, you know, all around. But it's a good memory. I dug this up from my father-in-law's chest of treasures that I had because he was in marketing. He was lead creator for AB for many years way back in the day. So I have some treasure trolls tucked away.
So you're talking about not everybody knows what Bud Bowl 6 is or what Bud Bowl was.
Bud Bowl, yeah.
We'll do this quick lead in so you can.
It began as a friendly game. Then it took on a life of its own. Changing the way you look at football and beer. But if you think you've seen everything, just wait. You haven't. Grab a ticket wherever you buy Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry. You could win
Bud Dry.
$1 million. Bud Bowl 6. It's gonna blow you away.
Yeah, that's the ad for it coming. But yeah, it was always Budweiser versus Bud Light, and they played a game, and every year, well, for 6 years they did. I think this was the last year.
The book you're showing was the storyboard that then became that physical commercial. Then.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Has the lead in and then all the angles of how the whole entire commercial was going to go.
It's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Cool. So cool. A little memorabilia museum, a little walk down memory lane for sure. So, well, good episode. Mikey, anything else to share?
No, good stuff. Hopefully we continue to see some good stuff on the marketing side from both of the big suppliers out there this year.
Oh yeah. It'll be a good year. Good year. I'm excited about this stuff. It's been a good Super Bowl season already, and we'll see how the year keeps playing out. So a lot of good stuff planned, more podcasts coming. We're going to keep having fun. If you like and are enjoying what we are doing, please smash that subscribe button. Give us a review, hit us up if you have any ideas or questions or things you'd like to, and share with a friend who should be hearing this information as well. So,
or if you want to come on the show, you have some good, industry related topics you want to talk about, maybe something that you're doing out in the market that you'd love to share with everybody, let us know. We'll have you on.
Good stuff. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Mikey, thanks for joining us for another episode of Tapped In Sales. We will see everybody next week, same time. Same bad channel. Cheers.
Cheers.